Am I getting it right that you are maybe doubtful if there is going to be this C2C type of platform?
Yeah, I could say that. Of course, there's probably product categories where it differs, but that's the reason why we wouldn't probably see a general rental marketplace, but then it would be super specific to a vertical where like power tools and that like do-it-yourself market. But yeah, in general, I would say that it's more realistic, in my opinion, to see that if there is this kind of a local marketplace, the supply would come from professional businesses. Because for the demand side, if the supply comes from a professional business, it kind of also means less hassle for you. You can be a bit more certain that, all right, the product is actually of good quality. You can trust the seller a bit more. You can trust that it's been maintained well, all of these things. Because it's a service relationship at the end of the day. You probably get a better service from a business than you would from a consumer that is just trying to get an extra buck for something that they're not using. It might be that people, if they have like unused goods that they're not willing to resell, but they would be willing to kind of put out there to be rented, that they would use some kind of a facilitative business in between who then kind of actually runs the operation of storing it, renting it out, and then all of these things, like almost like you having a vacation home and then you have someone taking care of the rentals when you don't need it. So I think I could see that working, but in essence that already would kind of be professionalized supply who then just gets their supply from consumers rather than just connecting two sellers.
But do you see that there is the demand in general, that there is enough potential customers for running this type of business?
Yeah, I think, yeah. Well, the demand would have to be split with per product category. But yeah, certainly like power tools, 100%, like that market exists. Trailers, 100% that market exists. A lot of sporting equipment, I would say, that exists, at least kind of the more expensive side of things like bikes or skis. Things that you use once or twice a year, so super like seasonal things, that market exists. Baby and maternity equipment, I think that's already kind of a market where you know that there's this kind of this built-in seasonality that if I rent something now, it's going to be too small in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months or whatever. So I think there are these markets, but whether these markets connect locally so that normal consumer would be willing to go through the effort, what is needed before and after a booking to earn extra, let's say $40 for lending a ladder to someone, it probably would lean towards like, hey, let's set up a service that makes it easier in our community to support each other. We might have a small kicker in terms of like some monetary compensation for the trouble, but whether it would be a marketplace business case in a way that could grow to the size of Amazon or Uber, probably not. And I think that's the reason why we haven't seen a national or global rental marketplace in most of the categories. I think the closest that we've seen is either electronics, where it's more of a subscription service than actually short-term rentals, or then like occasion where we've maybe seen that people are willing to tap into other people's closets. But if I'm not completely wrong, even those often work so that like almost in like the ThreadUp way where I send my stuff to a facilitative mid-partner rather than directly from consumer to consumer.
I think we are now in a place where we know that there is a demand and there is a lot of rental businesses that are kind of like already catering there. So is the solution maybe that there is these existing rental businesses and then try to gather those and kind of create an aggregator platform where you just have already existing companies and maybe some new side hustlers or new service providers who are maybe gathering the supply from consumers or anywhere, have this one place, one platform where for a consumer it would be super easy to go there.
In rentals, the summary could be that, yeah, these existing rental companies exist for a reason. They already have some customer bases. I'm certain that in most cases, like 8 out of 10, they would benefit from getting a little bit more visibility for their offering and catalog. So if you kind of walk into the average rental business and you would do an audit on how discoverable your offering is compared to like the average, let's say, linear sales company, some of them totally lack an online store or a booking platform, reasons being that they're not able to kind of connect it to their inventory management in a feasible way. For some, the actual booking experience is quite like paper driven and there's a bunch of contracts. There's just a lot of friction there that could be removed. And then they kind of sell almost like, hey, I sell to the neighborhood or the tourists that come to the area, but they don't actively list the stuff in a booking platform or similar. I think there's an opportunity for someone to pool the supply that is already there, make their offering more discoverable, which is something that I think the marketplace examples that I mentioned that have tapped into that supply have kind of figured out that, all right, let's do that. Let's kind of position ourselves more as a B2C, like discover the rental or booking offerings locally here. Let's take probably a smaller transaction fee because we just essentially bring traffic rather than do anything else there. But then they are fighting with the challenge that how digitized these rental operators are. And that's something at Twice, which we believe that is our job, that as a white label kind of a re-commerce OS, is to make sure that anyone using Twice is capable of listing their items easily to whatever marketplace there is. Because when you have someone coming to your door saying that, would you like to have some extra visibility for new customers? Of course, your answer kind of is that, yeah, sure. But then you need some platform that actually helps you do it.